Merry Meet! Thank you so much for joining me today. We are working a psalm spell today, and today we are working on Psalm number 23. Now remember that Psalm 23 is one of the contractual psalms, and it's considered an all-purpose type of psalm. So if you don't know which psalm to reach for, Psalm 23 will get you where you need to go. Alright, the way we work these psalm spells is quite simple. We take the psalm in question and we read it out loud all the way through once without stopping. And then we go back through that same psalm and we take it verse by verse, sometimes line by line, occasionally even word by word, and we dig for those occult meanings. Those are like magical seeds that are living in the Psalms themselves. And through this digging and searching and contemplating these inner meanings, we are in a very real way tilling the soil of our deep mind and taking those magical seeds and planting them where they take root and they grow and they bear fruit after their kind. And that's what we are going to do right now with Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. All right, beautiful. The way we work this magic, like I said, is going back and really searching. So let's do that now. The Lord is my shepherd. Well, first of all, we need to define who the Lord is. So for us, in a magical point of view, we look at these psalms magically, not religiously. So the Lord is not some external deity. It's not a father figure. It's not a male figure. And it's not a goddess figure. It's not a female figure. It's what we call a pre-gender experience. So it's the Godhead. And there is only one. There is only one. There's only one source. There's only one force. And that's what this is. It's not a personality. It's a force. And it's the force. And there's nothing to oppose it. There's nothing to thwart it. One with God as a majority is a reality. When you are aligning yourself with this force, there's nothing that can oppose you. So if God be for us, who can be against us is a rhetorical question that has a great deal of importance if you consider it and you meditate on that. So the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Isn't that nice? I shall not want. Because the Lord is my shepherd. Well, what's a shepherd? Think of this as an image. A shepherd is somebody that's very dedicated to a flock, to a flock of sheep. These sheep are the shepherd's charge. He loves these sheep. He takes great care of these sheep. And the shepherd in this case is shepherding not to these sheep are not there to be slaughtered. These sheep are there for wool. So they are there, as taken care of beautifully and loved. And so the Lord is my shepherd. So if in an imperfect world, a shepherd loves his sheep that much and takes good care of his sheep, imagine in a perfect world what that image would be like if the Lord of these Psalms was your shepherd. That means that all of your cares are taken care of. Everything that you could ever need or desire or want, anything that would make your life better is provided for you, and you shall not want. You shall not want. So the shepherd knows what you need before you need it, before you know what you need. The shepherd knows what you need before you know. And so your wants are taken care of because you don't have wants. You shall not want. You're satisfied before want even enters into the equation. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. So when the Lord, when a shepherd makes you lie down in green pastures, it's not like he's forcing you to lie down. It's that if you're going to lie down, let's lie down in green pastures. Let's lie down where everything is beautiful. We're going to lie down where everything is perfect. We're going to lie down where all your needs are met, and peace is the only reality, and all is well. He leadeth me beside the still waters. Think of those waters as being your emotions. And if you're beside the still waters, that means that you're in a place of peace and calm and serenity, which is your natural state. So he leadeth me beside the still waters. God is going to lead you. The Lord is leading you to where peace is your norm. He restoreth my soul. So to have your soul restored in this sense is to restore you to your soul. Because your soul doesn't need to be restored. Your soul is already perfect. But we who feel separate from our souls, we feel like our souls are in turmoil, when in reality, our souls are just fine. Our souls are in perfect perpetual peace. So when God restores your soul, he restores your connection to your soul. He brings you back home. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Not namesake, but his name's sake. Okay, so the paths of righteousness are everything that is perfect for you. Everything that's going to make you happy, everything that's going to give you joy, everything that's going to bring you what you need and want according to your highest desires, your soul's journey. Your soul came here for beautiful, glorious purposes. Your soul did not come here to see anything suffer. Your soul came here to liberate you and to help you and help others to remember who you are. So those are the paths of righteousness, and they only bring joy. They only bring abundance. They only bring healing. Those are the paths of righteousness. What's his name's sake? Well, for the sake of his name. And what is the name of the Lord? The name of anything in these scriptures and in any writings, magical writings. And we consider this a magical writing, not a religious writing in this particular respect, because the name of something is its nature. So it's not necessarily some archaic name, Yahweh or Elohim Gibor. Those things are fine, and we use those in magic. But in this context, that's not what the name is. The name is the nature of God. And so you think about the qualities of God. And for the sake of those qualities, that's why he's leading you on the paths of righteousness. So he's leading you on the paths of righteousness because his name is infinite intelligence, is perfect love, is infinite life, is divine truth, is divine law. So all of those wonderful ideas, perfect beauty, infinite abundance, those are the names of God. So for his name's sake, he's leading you on those paths of righteousness to lead you into what you really want, to lead you into your joy, to your perfection, not into those other paths that you tend to lead yourself into and get into all kinds of trouble. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Let's go backwards through this. The rod and the staff are those tools of a shepherd to gently lead somebody and guide, to lead the sheep and to guide the sheep along the way. They're not, instruments of torture where they're going to beat the poor little lamb. The shepherd is lovingly guiding the lamb in the right direction where the lamb needs to be, and that's what your relationship is being with the Lord is being seen using this as a symbol, just as a symbol. Obviously, you're not a lamb. So it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. So the valley of the shadow of death is what this world is. This world is a world of darkness and illusion. This world is a nightmare. This world is a world of death. That's what this world is. This world is a place where people believe that the only way you can get out, the only way to get out of this world is through death. Right? They don't understand that this world is just a nightmare. They don't understand that this world doesn't really exist the way we think it does. So we are always walking in this valley of the shadow of death. That's what this world has for us. So yea, though I walk through this illusion, or this valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. So you're not going to be worried about the illusion. You're not going to worry about the nightmare that you see around you. You're not going to fear it, because God is with you. This shepherd is with you, and he's leading you along the way with his rod and his staff in a comfortable, comforting way. So being constantly comforted by this presence in the midst of anything that might normally trouble you reminds you that you are safe and that you have nothing to fear. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. So when it's time for you to partake of communion, basically, with your Creator, it's happening in the presence of your enemies, meaning you don't have to wait until you're all perfect. You don't have to wait until everything is perfect in this world in order for God to feed you. And God doesn't necessarily just feed you food, although that will happen when you need it. You will obviously get food for your body. But the true food is the food for your soul, and the food for your mind, and the food of everlasting life. And everlasting life means spirit. Spirit never dies. Spirit never is thwarted, and that's who you are. You are a soul, and a soul lives and exists in spirit. And so when thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies, it's happening even in the midst of anything negative or scary or whatever. You're still doing God's work here. And so you have nothing to fear. You don't have to wait until everything's all perfect and then you have this time with God. No, you're having it now. Thou anointest my head with oil. So when a shepherd anoints the sheep's head with oil, he does it in order to care for it. He makes sure his eyes are clean and his ears are clean. And back then, oil was the only thing that we had for an ointment, right? So anointing your head with oil is not necessarily, blessed be, like anointing your head with your finger on your forehead, although it can be that you can use that as an image as well. But think in terms of why a shepherd would be anointing the sheep's head with oil. It's to take care of him. It's to take care of all your needs. That sheep doesn't, those sheep, that lamb does not have to take care of its own needs, right? Its needs are taken care of for it. And that's the same for you. My cup runneth over. Well, obviously a lamb doesn't have a cup, so now we're talking in human terms. But this is making sure that when God's in charge of your supply, there's no end to it. So this is a prosperity psalm in that regard, that everything you need is abundantly provided for. Abundantly. You don't have to worry that you're going to run out because your cup runneth over. There's extra. There's always excess in your life. You've got a surplus of money. You've got a surplus of good. You've got a surplus of whatever you need. It's always there. Not because you're stockpiling it, but because it's a never-ending supply. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Surely. You have certainty that goodness and mercy will follow you all the days of your life. Now, if you're looking Kabbalistically on the tree of life, that goodness and mercy exists on the fourth sphere. So that sphere of abundance, that sphere of prosperity, that sphere of justice is always following you, and you have nothing to worry about. All your good is coming to you. Your good is coming to you. You don't have to seek after it. It's seeking after you now. All the days of your life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Now, what's the house of the Lord? Well, it's not a church. It's not a church. It means that in the Psalms, they talk about houses every so often. And when it says in another Psalm, it says when God builds your house, everything's cool. If you build your house all by yourself, everything's not cool. If you build your house by yourself, you're building in vain, another psalm says. But if you let God build your house for you, then all is well. So you want to live in God's house, because God's house never topples. God's house is eternal. God's house is the place where you can dwell in safety and in joy and in abundance forever and ever and ever. In God's house, you are not bound by your past mistakes. You're not even reminded of your past mistakes. You're not bound by any errors that you've made. You're not bound by anything other than the love of the universe, the pure love, perfect love out of which you are created. That's what God's house is. God's house is the place to dwell in that infinite safety, that infinite love, that infinite certainty that all is well. And that is how we work these psalms. We just take this psalm and just keep coming back to it again and again, and you'll find more and more of your own seeds of magic when you sit and contemplate these psalms. And there's an infinite amount of those magic seeds right in that one psalm and in every psalm. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I thank you so much for spending some time with me, and until next time, blessed be.